Hello everyone, welcome back to Lab4crypto. Bitcoin is currently just 5.5% away from its all-time high. And the most asked question I got today is, have we missed our chance to get Bitcoin below 60K? In today's video, I will explore whether there is still an opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin movements are correlated with altcoins, what I will say today applies to your favorite altcoin as well. If Bitcoin takes a dip in the coming months, altcoins will likely drop even more, potentially creating a final window for accumulation before the anticipated 2025 cycle top. I'm going to share a scenario that could see Bitcoin echoing its remarkable performance from 2019 to 2020. And for those who remember the 2020-21 bull run, this might bring back some exciting memories and show us a glimpse of what could happen in 2025. Stick around to find out what adjustments you might need to consider for your portfolio if that scenario plays out. And if you enjoy the content, please do not forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. And also check the Lab4crypto Premium platform that we have, as is designed to help you navigate the crypto market with confidence and take advantage of this scenario that I'm going to explain now and many more. Let's go to the fun stuff and hope you enjoy it. The scenario that I will talk is, as I said before, refers to Bitcoin performance in 2019. And you will see that I have put some arrows as well. And what are these arrows, and also what are these two lines? These two lines refers to the bull market support band, which basically it's the 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average. And for people that are not familiar with this band, it just means if the Bitcoin price is above these two lines, we are in a bull run. And if Bitcoin price is below these two lines, we are in a bear market. This chart uses weekly candles. And what similarities we can see are with 2019 and 2024 that we are now, are these arrows, and I will explain more in detail. We saw that Bitcoin recently dipped below the bull market support band. It quickly reclaimed the bull market support band, now is above it. But if we compare it with the top that we had in March, we will see that Bitcoin is making lower highs, as we will see, but also lower lows. And let's focus on the lower lows. There was one in April 29th, and also one in July, 1st of July 2024. If we go to 2019, and the reason that I'm using 2019, there is also one important similarity, which are the rate cuts, and I will explain them in a bit. But first, let's see the lower lows. Bitcoin again, it was above the bull market support band, and then it made a lower low. Then again, it dipped below. After 3 weeks, it reclaimed the bull market support band, and then was slowly going down from the two lines. So it was grinding down the bull market support band, and then we had the final lower low in December 2019. I'm not going to speak about the dip that we had in 2020 in March, because it was the COVID crisis, so it was the pandemic. Basically that year we have entered a recession and so on. So let's focus on this part, which was before we knew anything about the COVID pandemic. The one observation that we can make is that Bitcoin here dropped more aggressively. So if we check the line which represents the lower lows, you will see it's more steep compared to what we had now, which, Just a moment. Just need the line. Yeah. You will see this line. It's not that steep compared to this yellow line. And the reason for that is also the institutional adoption for Bitcoin, because we know that the spot Bitcoin ETFs are new investors in the game, which are not planning to accumulate Bitcoin for a couple of days and then dump it. And that it's obvious from the daily change of the spot ETFs, which if we have a look, you will see that we had basically negative outflows only couple of days compared to the lifespan of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And that is something that I'm also expecting. If Bitcoin is going to resemble what it did in 2019, I don't expect Bitcoin to drop below 50K, for example. It's going to be somewhere there because the last value that we got, the last lower low was at 53.5K. So I expect it to be just below that value, which could be between 50 and 53K. And that is maybe the last opportunity that we will have to accumulate BTC after we see the end of the rate cuts, the global liquidity again increasing, the quantitative easing. And we saw in 2021 what happened when that scenario occurred. After Bitcoin reached its lowest value after the COVID pandemic, which also, if we bring the rate cuts, after the end of the rate cuts, we saw Bitcoin go to from values close to 5K all the way up to 68, 67K. And the nice about comparing Bitcoin with 2019 is because there is a high chance, in my opinion, that we can see a dip after the announcement of the first rate cut from the Fed. If we see what happened in 2019, you will see that actually Bitcoin top was a month before the first rate cut. So the first rate cut happened in July 2019, and actually the local top for Bitcoin and altcoins was in June 2019. The first rate cut is expected to be in September 2024. If we go and check now the CME, the Fed watch tool together, you will see that the probabilities to have the first rate cut is in September. So with almost 90% probability, the market is expecting the first rate cut to be in September 2024. So Bitcoin could continue to have a run below the top that it had, the last top. Let's go and have a look, and I will explain you what I mean. If that scenario is played out, this scenario is going to be played out, Bitcoin needs to also have lower highs. Therefore, Bitcoin, if does not go above the 72K, for example, and continue to go sideways, there is a chance that we can get one more opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin if BTC drops below its bull market support band, as it did in December 2019. And then we're going to have the full steam bull run that we experienced in 2021-22. I'm going to closely watch the closing price of Bitcoin, and I want to see if it's not going to manage to make a higher high compared to the last one, and if it's going to continue come closer to the bull market support band. And there is, in my mind, a chance that in August, Bitcoin will continue to go sideways, and closer to September to have a dip that we can take advantage on. As Bitcoin this time, I don't expect it to have a huge dip as it did in 2019, because it seems that the US economy based on the labor market is strong. We have the institutional adoption of Bitcoin, and also we have the elections. Therefore, in my mind, if Bitcoin continue to hold the bull market support band well and only drops even close to the 53.5K that it went the last time, it's probably going to be a good time to accumulate BTC and also your favorite altcoin, as I will expect the market to start speculating about the US elections. And if actually a pro crypto candidate is going to be elected, the probability of having legislations that benefit crypto are going to be increased. And as institutional adoption takes time, it will be perfectly aligned with the institutional adoption, therefore, Bitcoin spot ETFs to continue to accumulate. And we already saw BlackRock, for example, total holdings to be in a straight line since the inception, and also Fidelity the same. And what we can observe is that BlackRock is now a proponent of crypto and Bitcoin. This is one. So institutional adoption, because do not forget that BlackRock is the custodian of these assets, so the custodian of Bitcoin. Therefore, they have people going out and starting to pitch in Bitcoin to various institutional investors, pension funds, and clients in general, and you get the message. So you have a top-notch investment firms pitching about BTC. We're gonna have hopefully a president in the US which is pro crypto, and also it aligns with the business cycle and macroeconomic cycle. And if Bitcoin as a risky asset follows what it followed the last time when we had the end of the rate cuts, imagine what will happen to BTC and your favorite altcoin after the end of the rate cuts. So that is why you are hearing a lot about the rate cuts. The last time we had, after the rate cuts, we had a dip. So actually the market was going down until we had the end of the rate cuts. This time I'm a bit concerned that actually it's not going to be that huge dip, because the market is anticipating that we have avoided recession. Therefore, the US economy is strong. And therefore, with the fact that the spot ETFs are absorbing the selling pressure from whales and people that are retail investors, actually, because do not forget that Bitcoin and the crypto market in general is driven from retail investors. And that factor, in my mind, will diminish the drop that we see in Bitcoin. And that is already evident if we compare the drop in 2019 with what we saw now in 2024. We continue to see the same pattern, but not with these huge dips that we saw in 2019. And to close my video is that Bitcoin risk currently is at 54%, which is in the middle range. Therefore, if we see a drop in BTC in the end of October and beginning of September, and if risk is continued to be in levels that your risk tolerance allows it, maybe it's going to be your last chance to accumulate BTC in your favorite altcoin. And therefore, you need to monitor this situation, because it's going to answer the question that many of you asked me today. When I came to the office, I had 20 or 30 questions from people that they are expecting to accumulate more Bitcoin as we go to the end of the year, but they are starting to afraid that Bitcoin maybe will continue to go up and they're going to miss the opportunity. And to also give you the other side of the coin, if Bitcoin continues to go up and follows the 2013 move, again, you didn't miss the boat. If Bitcoin is going to continue the trajectory that we have spoke many times, which if we check the power law, the Bitcoin power law model, you will see that if you expect Bitcoin top to be in 2025, let's say in the middle, in June, that means the top of Bitcoin is expected to be at 178K, which is the green line, the 2 standard deviation at least. Therefore, ask yourself if actually Bitcoin now is a good deal or not. And that is something that you need to answer to yourself. But definitely, if we see a dip, for me, I'm going to closely watch what is going to happen. And if Bitcoin comes closer to its bull market support band and I see a lower low, probably I'm going to accumulate. But of course, I'm going to let you know in the Telegram channel as well. And hopefully, as what 2019 did, we had an explosive run after that. And that's why also people are monitoring the Fed interest rates, because they will signal that the quantitative easing from the US is started, and therefore the risk on mode of Wall Street and institution and people will be turned on even further. Hopefully you like the video. Please do not forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Until next time, bye-bye.